you're alive.
All right.
That's more important.
Yeah, yeah,
You want
yeah.
some feedback from me?
Say again.
You want feedback, some feedback from me?
Oh no, everything is very clear.
All right, that's good. All right.
How about mine too?
Perfect.
All right. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining in this live session today. So, my name is Kwabna Ampon, and then I'm here with Helipilot GH. He will introduce himself as we start. But I would like you to follow us, so you can follow Helipilot GH on all the social media handles: Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok here as well. You can also follow my channel here on TikTok. As we go along, we are going to have more people come on this show to share their experience with us. So I'm glad that you've all joined us. So we are going to talk about aviation today, and then also about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the comment section, and then along the line as we go, we are going to answer them. So, Captain, good evening once again. So, before we start with the questions that we have, I would like you to tell us about your day, a day as a pilot. Like, what do you really do as a pilot when you go to work?
Okay. All right. Thanks. It's nice to hear from everyone here. My real name is Sam.
Yeah, yeah.
Stage name is Eric Kanochi. Some time ago, I used to have a stage name. But I mean, if you call me any less anywhere, I mean, everybody will identify me. All right. So the normal day of the pilot. What do we do? Um, I mean, before anything, there's always, I mean, there's a task order, or like, or there's an instruction that enables you to carry out the task.
All right.
So if you happen to have that task order, you will go to the normal preparation for
Okay, it's like your
documentation.
sound is kind of getting bad as you speak.
Okay, let me
Yeah.
work in this.
All right. Say again.
How's it now?
It's better.
How's it now? Okay, just a moment.
All right.
How do you?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. It's loud and clear.
This is better, right?
Yeah, it is.
All right. So I was trying to use a microphone, but I'm getting some feedback. All right. So you normally receive some kind of instruction that will authorize you to go for a flight. Then you have to do. I'm sure we'll go into details, but you have to do various documentation now just to solidify the authorization or to authenticate the authorization. Then you do your normal checks on your aircraft outside, inside. You do your crew checks personally. You check your weather. You do your briefing. Just this is just a summary, and then you plan your flight, go for your mission, and return, and enjoy with your family. Basically, that is it.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing with us about your day and what you do as a pilot at work. So, so I'd like to go to the first question. So the first question is, what actually gave you that interest in aviation? Like, what inspired you to go into aviation?
All right, so in our part of the world, aviation seems to be for a class of people, more like elitist a little because of the cost of.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So growing up, we all wish we could be pilots, but Charlie, say it's like a dream far fetched. You know that it's a dream, but it's like saying you want to be an astronaut in Ghana. It's very possible, but looking at the reality, you know, it looks like it would be difficult to achieve it. But unfortunately, I mean, I still showed some interest far back in high school and then the university. The irony is that my first degree is in agricultural science. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, my first degree is in agricultural science. So in school, my mates used to laugh at me that Charlie, you farmer, you want to fly, because they catch me in class
Yeah,
watching airplanes, that kind of thing. It looked weird, and I understand them because at the time, I mean, if your dad or your mom or you didn't come from a rich family, you knew you couldn't be a pilot because Ghana Airways was even defunct, and there was no notable flight school for us. So I decided to apply to join the service, and by God's grace, I got it, and I was able to fulfill the dream. So I went around the part where my parents will have to pay for something, because I mean I joined an institution that trains pilots to fly, and I'm quite privileged because our batch, I think we were just eight, the whole Ghana. Can you imagine the number of people that applied, and just to select eight people.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So
All right,
basically, that's a summary.
all right, all right. Awesome. Thank you very much. So I think there are so many people who are watching us, and I think a lot of people also have the interest in aviation to become a pilot. If you go to any classroom right now and you ask like students, you get many of them raising their hand saying they want to be a pilot. So I think it's a step in the right direction, saying that you also had the interest growing up and all of that. But you were saying you did agricultural science in the university, so that means uh, what are the course requirements? Is it that anybody at all, anyone who just does any course can become a pilot? What are your thoughts on that?
This is a very important point. The thing about flying is that I always say there's the developing country setting and the developed country setting. So in Ghana, aviation is still growing. So you realize that um, you have to be financially fit to be able to train as a pilot individually, because there are flight schools around the world. If you are from an affluent family, you can just do a fly. You just need to be 17 years old, read, speak, write, and understand English, and be healthy. The health checks are not as stringent as joining like an institution that recruits pilots. So that's the basic requirement. 17 years old, speak, read, write, and understand English, and be healthy. That is all. However, if you want to join an institution that trains pilots, the institution would have a requirement. And the requirement of the institution now becomes the requirement to fly for you, because you cannot self-fund yourself. You get it? So the institution
Yeah,
will require that you
that's
have
true.
a degree in sciences. It could require that you have a degree in engineering. Depending on the institution, it could require that you have a degree in mathematics. It could be anything, geography. The institution normally revises they normally revise their requirements periodically. You get it? So maybe this year they can say they want it. Next year they can say they want this, based on their requirements for the period. So, like I said, the institution requirement become a requirement. So that general requirement of being 17 years, read, speak, write, and understand English is sort of annulled because the institution requires you to have a certain standard. Generally, the institutions require that you have some kind of science or geography background, because with flying, you may have to understand certain principles like Newton's law, Bernoulli's principle, the use of the Venturi's tube, certain forces that aid in flying. You must be able to understand weather patterns and all that. So if
Yeah,
you don't have some knowledge in like meteorology, I mean sciences, geography, it makes it difficult for an institution to pick you over somebody who has that. Fortunately, in my time, people didn't know much about flying, I should say, because I'm sure if I applied now, I'm not sure say that I'm better. Because because it's not competitive too, because there's a lot of information around. By the time you would not have met any pilot. Where are you going to meet a pilot?
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
But now, because of information flow, you can meet pilots and ask questions like this and understand. So those are the two areas. Either you are from an affluent family or you have family for this family to train on your own. Then the requirement becomes 17 years. Speak, read, write, and understand English. Or you join an institution that trains people to be pilots. But the institution's requirements become a requirement, which is often a university degree in a science. But even with the science, it will depend on the education. In developed countries, so there are companies that can also recruit. Well, they have cadet pilot programs where they can pick you. They may also decide to pick based on what they want within the period. So basically, that is it.
All right, all right. That was very extensive. So thank you very much for that one. Okay, so I'll go on to my next question. So from the first day you started training to become as a pilot, how long has that been up till today? And what has been your experience with flying so far?
Okay, so line is interesting. We'll talk about it. People call us glorified bus drivers, but we'll take it like that. The only thing is that it's I think it's a privilege and a blessing because um, you do something that maybe 0.001% of the world population do. And
Yeah.
the views and the experience. If you're an airline pilot, the places you go to, they are priceless. The experience. If you're a helicopter pilot, the views you have, the places you land, the experience you have, the fact that you carry a bird into the sky and bring it back, especially as an African, a Ghanaian, a black man, when you meet foreign nationals and you tell them you're a pilot, there's some kind of prestige attached to it that they look at you and they're like, ah, are you sure? No, sure. You know, I went for a call somewhere and the people they didn't believe it. They had to see pictures to believe it.
Okay.
And when me
Wow.
asking me questions, sure.
Wow. I see.
We know the way our world is sometimes. So to be honest, it's just the privilege and the joy of doing something that very few people do. That's all.
All right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think that
Just
feeling
to add
also.
that, just to add to that, just to add to
Okay.
that,
Sure. Go ahead.
how many doctors do you know? How many engineers do you know?
Oh, many,
How
many of
many
them, many
surgeons do you How
uncountable.
many lawyers do you know? How many pilots do people meet in their lifetime?
I'm sure there are even people on this live who haven't
That's
met
the
pilot
thing.
before. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So I think that's very true. The feeling actually resonates around everywhere. So anytime you go to the airport to probably like escort a friend or take a flight, once you see the
Yeah,
pilot, you actually see that everybody's eyes are on them. So I think that
yeah, like
that really makes it
superheroes.
so. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to our next question. So the next question is about training. So I think it's not a 1 day thing that you just get up and go to class 1 day and that's all you're flying. So how was training? Was it challenging? If it was somehow challenging, how were you able to overcome some of these challenges and become a pilot today?
Thank you. So, I have a video on the challenges I went through in flight school. It's on YouTube. You
Okay.
know, one very important thing is consistency. I say consistency first because even for operational pilots, if you stop flying for a while and you return to the cockpit, realize that you are a little off color. It's like a footballer who is not ready for a match. You know, you miss your touches, you are just a minute second slow to react. You know, that's how it is. One major thing we had was uh, cognitive challenges where you have to cram so many things into your head.
Okay.
Understanding concepts. It made me understand why certain institutions require that their students have certain qualifications. For example, imagine an art student understanding Bernoulli's principle. If you're a science student, automatically you know Newton's laws, you know the third law, you know the
Yeah.
equation. You
Yeah.
understand? If you are an aerospace student, you even know more. You
Yeah,
know,
that's very true.
if you
That's
did
very true.
geography, if you did geography, you understand the earth, you understand coordinates, you know. If you did mathematics, you understand how to do a lot of calculations quickly in the air because you are doing few calculations, you are doing weight and balance. So I sometimes understand why the institutions want you to have certain qualifications to make it easy for you.
Yeah.
But although they are not like requirement if you have the money to do it, but it helps you. Like I said, you don't have to be a mechanic to know how to drive. That's the truth. But it helps you understand the machine better.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
flight training, flight training is sort of undulating. You may start in a steady way and get to a point where you plateau. Then you have to fight your way through with the consistency I talked about to also continue to the top and then eventually finish. But the joy is always in the finishing, always at the finishing line. At the finish
Okay.
line, yeah, yeah. Finishing is where the joy is because you cannot go back and say you couldn't finish. It's an indictment on you.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know whether you want me to talk about the structure of how we train. Maybe it may come in another question.
Oh yeah, you can take it in this one, and also some of the exact, like I mean the direct challenges. For example, some of the
Okay.
maneuvers you had to learn, and
Yeah.
yeah, some of the challenges you face with that.
So one of the structure is like this. For some of the skills,
Sure.
they vary, but generally you do what you call a ground school. You learn obviously you have to understand the systems, the concepts, and all these things. Imagine an art student going to learn four-stroke engine or turbine engine. It will be very difficult because you have no idea. But it is easy for an engineering or science student to understand the combustion, compression, intake, because they've
Yeah.
done it. It's
Yeah.
easy for a science student to understand fluid mechanics, knowing that air flows like a fluid. You understand it because you have a fair idea.
Yeah, that's true.
So you do the ground school. When you do the ground school, you get to the point where some schools may allow you to start flying at the tail end of the ground school or finish your ground school before you fly.
Okay.
That may vary. And also, there's also the ground exam that you write. So you start flying, and there are maneuvers that you have to. Every maneuver has a lesson. So you do your normal maneuvers till you get to a point where you are supposed to fly solo. Solo means you can operate the aircraft alone. Initially, you may be flying with your instructor's license.
Okay.
I mean, on your instructor's license. So your instructor must be extremely confident in you to allow you to fly alone.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So,
true.
so you have to prove the point. That's where the consistency again comes in. And the cognitive overload comes in because you must be able to understand. You must always be able to balance this with social life. So the funny thing is that if you are self-sponsored, you may have some time and flexibility to take your time. But
Okay.
if you are sponsored by an institution and you have a time limit, there's pressure on you. So for me, there was pressure on me to finish because the institution doesn't take it lightly if you're late. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I get
So
it.
that is one of the challenges I face. Again, if you are paying on your own, you may face some financial challenges along the way. However, if you are an institution is sponsoring you, you don't have any problem with finances. You see
Yeah.
the way it just run like that. Yeah. So when you start flying, it gets to a point where you are comfortable with your instructor is comfortable with you, then now you can do the solo. The solo, some most of them will allow you to just do flights around the airport. We call them parties. Maybe
Okay.
one or two to be sure that you can do it. Then I mean, after the solo, we pour water on you. They can pour fuel on you. They can tear your
Yeah.
clothes just to
Yeah.
show that you have now become a human being, sort of.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
true.
now you have a solo pilot certificate. So it means that you can fly the aircraft alone within controlled conditions or controlled limits. Now, after that, the next step you have to do is to get like a private pilot license or another kind of license that allows you to fly on your own totally.
Okay.
So you have to build some hours by flying and doing some advanced maneuvers. Then now you get to that point where you write an exam on the ground and do a flying exam. We call it check ride.
Okay.
After that, you can decide to continue. So when you get that private pilot license, you can fly people, but you cannot take money from them for flying.
Okay. I
So
get
if
it.
you need to get fuel or other stuff, you must share and pay. So we normally have a joke for it, call it pro rata, pro rata. It's in one of the regulations, the American regulations.
Okay.
So after the private pilot, the next step you want to take is either go to commercial or instrument, depending on how you want it. For the this what I'm talking about is for helicopters. For fixed wing guys, you do private in single engine and private in multi engine
Yeah. Yeah.
because you fly a bigger aircraft. So that is it. Then you can do the commercial. Commercial just means you are building time to be more experienced so that you can fly for some kind of money or compensation.
Yeah.
So for fixed wing, you do the commercial in single and multi again. For the helicopters, because we are single engine most of the time, we fly single engine.
Yeah.
Then because even if you have multi engine, it's the same blade that is turning, no real difference.
Yeah. That's true.
So then some people decide to do the instrument flying before the commercial or commercial before instrument. The significant thing is instrument flying. With instrument flying, you should be able to fly in bad weather, fly in conditions where visibility is low, conditions where you cannot that are not sane to be literal.
Okay.
So you will cover your face will be covered with a hood and then you fly just strictly managing your instruments. Normally people like to do the instrument after the private so that they can build their proficiency because the instrument requires that you have finesse. I don't know if you play FIFA, but you know
Yeah. Yeah. I
finesse.
do.
The banana cake, yeah. Instrument gives you finesse. So if you build the finesse through the instrument, by the time you are commercial, you can be fly and just be looking around. So when you go to fly school initially, so the commercial is like I said, so that you can carry passengers for money. Some people may continue to do instructor training.
Okay.
That's for instrument and for visual. And some people may continue to do air transport pilot license, depending on the contract your institution has with
Yeah. With the
the
school.
school or your personal arrangement with the school.
Okay.
So this is a lot. So I've just tried to summarize it here. Yeah.
All right. All right. I get it. I get it. From the way you are talking, I think in school there will be so much pressure on you because you have to go through all of these
Yes.
things to be able to come out successful. All right. So I would like to tell the viewers that if you have any questions, kindly put them in the comment section and then we'll actually answer them as we go on. So let's go to the next question. So after training, Captain, what has been your best experience so far? Like a flight you really remember, and it's like more you always remember it and you say, oh, this flight is my best.
Okay. My best flight was when I mean after training, not during training, right?
Yeah, after training, not during training. After
I
training.
think I'll say one during training too.
All right. You can
The
go ahead.
first day I was able to do a flight, solo flight, out of the airport. So I was flying from Titusville, Florida to I think Vero Beach. It's also in Florida, south of Florida.
Okay.
That was like an hour flight. Like, no, not an hour, maybe 45, 35. Yeah. And you know, one thing we struggle with helicopters is hovering. And when you are learning how to hover, you are like Robocop. You, you see, you can do so much in the training area, but when you get to the airport and you see the traffic, you just freeze. And
Wow.
then our school had so many aircraft, so you had to. Your instructor will always also tell you to park at the back, close to his office. It means you cannot leave it in front and get around with it. You must taxi on that yellow line to the back. And when
Wow.
you are taxiing, the chief instructor is looking at you because his window faces the tarmac. And you know everybody is looking at who is taxing. The whole school is watching you. So there's so much pressure. So when most of us get there, we check it out. But that day, I don't know, miraculously, we just got it and then I just landed. And my instructor was like, hey Sam, you did it.
Wow.
You did it. You know, yeah, so that's the part of training. And when it just comes, it comes. The other experience has to do with my work where I work. I'm quite privileged to be in flight with some top officials,
Okay.
and I think um, the recent one I did at the companies during the election, that I think I really appreciated that a lot because that was the second time I'd been to that place, and I was able to appreciate the challenges that we encountered there with the aircraft and the terrain.
Okay.
Yeah, because the more you meet tough terrain, it sort of builds your confidence. For helicopters, we don't fancy airport to airport. No, we don't. We fancy tight spaces. You won't be
Yeah.
able to put the aircraft in a tight space, like maybe is it 37? There's a helipad at 37.
Yeah, there is.
The hospital, if you put it inside there, you know you have arrived.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Because if
true.
you're with a captain, a senior captain, and you're able to do that, you sleep in the aircraft and how you take off. But if he's not sure about you, he'll never let you do that.
Okay.
So I think this recent one is one of the best experiences. I have a lot of good experiences from the past, but I think this recent one.
Yeah. All right. All right. Awesome. Thank you very much for that. Okay. So we'll go on to the next question. So the next question is about flying directly. So how do you, manage communication with air traffic control and also with your co-pilot or whoever you are flying with? So, and how is the flying like? Is it like one person is flying all the time, or both of you are flying at the same time? Because so many people do not know what really happens in the cockpit. So, can you throw more light on what really happens there and the communication that happens there as well?
Okay, so not two pilots will fly at the same time, except in an emergency, and the emergency requires that two pilots fly. Most times, this emergency will be a hydraulic failure
Okay,
because nobody can control the aircraft with your strength. Mostly it's hydraulics. So you you act you how do you say it? You force the control, and the hydraulic amplifies your action.
okay,
That's what happens. So in two pilots may fly together only in most cases when it is a hydraulic failure. Okay, that's just to issue the disclaimer. However, in normal operations, one pilot flies and one pilot communicates.
okay,
In that is a double crew aircraft. In larger aircraft that have multiple crew, like more than two crew,
okay,
so like some helicopters and some Russian machines, fixed wing, like the Antonov and their family, Illusions and crew. We have navigators in addition, and yes, in addition to the pilots, who also play their roles. So there's a pilot, a navigator, and a flight engineer. So
okay,
where I fly, for example, the helicopters have the flight engineers in addition to the pilots. So they start the engine, but we monitor. But we fly, when we are flying, they also monitor.
okay,
What is what that? If we know, so they're doing side that from back, you can say that a crew will be out of the captain. You understand?
yeah,
You get it? So basically, that is how that one is. And also, everything is structured and planned before we take off. So we know the communication we are going to have with ATC. ATC knows the communication they will have with us.
okay,
So we don't, there's no ambiguity. Because before we go for a flight, we file a flight plan. ATC is aware that we are going to Kumasi. They know you are using this departure procedure. If that is published, we know that you are going to climb to this altitude. So even when they give you the instruction, it's just to confirm and agree on what has happened and
Okay.
what you have planned. Sorry. The reason why you give it to them in advance is because you have to ensure that quality, because you're not the only person flying.
Okay.
And if there's any change, you can make a reference to yours and make the change. Exactly. For
Okay.
example, there's what we call purple airway in Ghana. When the president is flying towards an aerodrome, we declare purple airway and the place is closed. Aerodrome is closed
Yeah.
because the president is coming. So if you have a flight along that route, you find a flight plan and everything. You call ATC, they give you the instruction that you have given to them to confirm. You can change it because of purple airway, or they can change it because of an aircraft having an emergency or the military is flying or something. Yeah. So it is structured. And we know what they will tell us. They know what to do.
Okay.
And the flying is like military. It's so regimented.
I get
We
it.
all know what we will say.
Yeah.
We all know what to say. Yeah.
All right. All right. Thank you for that. So for example, like you are going to a place that there is no air traffic control. So let me use this as an example. Let's say you are going to somewhere around Takwa. Let's say you have to fly somebody to Takwa, like maybe the mining companies and all of that. So when you have to go to such places and you haven't been there before, how are you able to, I mean, find a place to put the helicopter and land and know that, oh, this place is very good, I can land and all of that? What goes into that decision?
Okay. Thank you. So you brought in a very important concept: controlled and uncontrolled airports.
Okay.
So controlled airports are airports with towers, with air traffic control. Uncontrolled airports are just like airfields, but airfields are supposed to have like frequencies
Yeah.
where you can communicate and state your intention in case there's somebody around. So we call that a CTAF.
Yeah. The
Uh,
common traffic
uh,
apparatus frequency.
yes,
Yeah.
you know it already. That's good.
Oh,
So we have the
I'm
CTAF
learning
so
from
that
you.
you so you announce your presence.
Okay.
Because we don't have too many aircraft in Ghana, we may not appreciate much. Maybe we may appreciate it more at Afenia because of the school. But apart from that, you hardly hear much about CTAF because we don't have much traffic. But there's a CTAF. For helicopters, before we go, we know where we are going to.
Okay.
We may not have been there in person, but we know the general area. And we always look for a field that is safe.
Okay.
So if you are going to maybe Okwase and there's a runway there, we have to know the runway because GCA will have the information on the runway. Yes. Like I said, we'll use a CTAP to find out if there's anybody in the aerodrome who can land. Again, as helicopter pilots, we are trained to land in confined areas. That's why I
Okay.
give the example that I really enjoyed the Afari plane experience. The more you land in confined areas, the more you build your confidence. Helicopter pilots don't like runway to runway because it makes us fixed wing pilots. We like to enter holes where it because you feel that you have achieved something when you're able to enter a tight space.
Okay.
So we always have a procedure we go through to identify to land. When we get to the area that we have to land, we check there are certain things we check. So we climb, we check to see whether the obstacles around because when we land we must find a way to get out. So you have to
Okay.
look for the obstacles. Sometimes you can land, but going out is the problem. So we look at the obstacles, how we can land, we can go out after landing. We look at the surface, whether it is grass, sand, dusty, whether it slopes. You look at whether there are buildings because sometimes you can take off your roofing sheet. You
Okay.
know, there are so many things we consider. We consider the vegetation. Sorry, the soil type.
Okay.
But one important thing that I noticed that is the rest are important, but one notable one, as you say, is the issue is slope.
Okay.
Very critical for me because you see, we operate a rotating machine, and our lift acts in all directions. So if we are landing on slopes, we are very careful because we have to still find that balance. Although our aircraft, our fuselage will be tilted like this, but our blades should be like this. You see?
Wow.
So yeah, so although the fuselage is this, you have to move the control this way. So you are like this,
Okay.
technically. So when you are picking up, the danger is that you can pick up this way.
Wow.
So when you are picking up, you must level up like this, like we call it light on skates, not very light. Hang in the middle of hang like 1 feet from the yeah 1 feet from the ground. You
Wow.
stabilize like this before you go up. So it's a
Okay.
slope that I find challenging sometimes because of the terrain. But apart from that, those other things I talked about, there are procedures for them.
Okay.
Like if they are obstacle, there's a procedure. If it is a grass landing, there's a procedure. If it's concrete, there's a procedure. If it's dust, there's a procedure. And we are trained in all those things.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That's true. Because I always used to wonder how you come in and you always find a place to land, even where you haven't been before.
Yeah.
So that's
Most places will not be there. I can assure you.
oh,
So
okay.
in our place, we did a day. We were doing most 20 landings,
Really?
and about 16 of those places I had not been there before.
Wow. I see.
Yeah. So it's a procedure.
Okay.
You have to know that we know our blade span. Blade span meaning how are the diameter of our blade.
Okay.
So we know that all we need is three-quarter football field.
Okay.
Yeah, and the football field is 100 by 70, so to say, or 100 by 50, or 100, yeah, mostly 100 by 70.
Okay.
Yes. So we know that if we see a football field, we are fine. Or we see something just after the halfway line, we know we are fine.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, basically that's it. Yeah.
I see. Awesome. Please, those on the live, if you have any questions, kindly put them in the comment section, then we'll answer them. So, to the next question, how is the helicopter different from the fixed wing aircraft? And is it that there are some special skills that are required to fly the helicopter? Because always I hear helicopter pilots boasting that they are the real pilots, and fixed wing pilots are not real pilots. So, what are your thoughts on that?
All right. Charlie, this matter, I don't use it. So I did a little of fixed wing, a little. But I can appreciate that too. You know, they sound biased, but helicopters don't want to fly.
Okay.
They don't want to fly. You know, the forces in helicopters are resultants. For those who did math, so good. You see where the science comes in.
Yeah.
These resultant forces. The only constant force in a helicopter is weight.
Yeah. Okay.
Everything else can move. You know, thrust, lift, drag. They can move in any direction. Because if you are flying left, your drag is right.
Yeah.
If you are flying diagonally, your drag is diagonal behind you. If you are going up, your drag is equal to your weight,
Yeah.
and your lift is equal to your thrust. So you see, so many things. So we are flying a rotating machine, a machine that does not want to fly. So helicopter pilots feel like they do more than fixed wing guys, you know,
Yeah.
because when you go for helicopter flight training, lesson 8 is hovering.
Okay.
But as soon as you go, the first day you are taught hovering. Because if you cannot hover a helicopter, you cannot take off on land. Because a hover is like a transition. You take off, a transition to land. So you
Okay.
are taught hovering for, so by the time you get to lesson 8, you cannot hover enough, but you can put the aircraft down quickly. And there's no skill, no instructor can teach you how to hover. You can
Really?
ask any helicopter pilot. No instructor can teach you how to hover.
Wow.
When you go, some people will say do it like 8. Some people say do it like up and down. No, it's just a feel,
Okay.
and it comes like magic. It just comes
Wow.
like magic. You struggle, and one day it just comes.
Wow. I
Then you're
see.
like, wow. Hovering is more like feeling part of the aircraft. Like let the aircraft. That's why when you don't fly helicopters for long and you come back, everybody will see that you've not flown for long. You'll
Wow.
be dancing a bit before you stabilize. And when you are transitioning from one helicopter to another, it will show because you are not used to the machine. It's not part of you. So you dance a bit before you get it. That's how it is. So if you look at all these things, helicopters will feel that they do more because we land in tight spaces, we fly close to the ground, we fly in dangerous areas. We fly close to masts, close to power cables. There's one thing we do with power line inspection. That's one
Yeah.
of the most dangerous, that's one of the most dangerous operations. So in a hover, when you have an engine failure, you don't have enough room to save yourself
Okay.
because you don't have forward speed to go forward to land. You understand? You have a bit more height and zero speed. It's dangerous. We call that the money curve in helicopters. Because when you have an engine failure in a single engine, you can't recover. So, but jobs like crop dusting, power line inspection, they are done in movers. So you are paid very well.
Okay.
But and also if you are flying very fast and close to the ground, you don't have enough altitude so that when you try to stop, your tail may hit the ground.
Okay.
So there's a term we call the height velocity diagram in helicopters. I mean, it's complicated. I'm just trying to simplify it to make a point.
All right.
So this height velocity diagram is always within takeoff and landing when you're a helicopter pilot,
Okay.
and it's very dangerous. So we feel that we do more. However, you cannot take away the fact that fixed-wing guys also have to monitor so many gauges. They have to fly higher.
Yeah.
You understand? And arguably, at cruise, tell me what they do. After takeoff, at cruise, they say, T, please. Helicopters that even have automated systems, you still, with those ones, you still have to control it.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
still
we
have
have,
to.
for the aircraft that fly, we have some kind of augmentation system. But
Okay.
when you are landing, when you enter a hover and you are landing, oh man, you need to hold the control.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, this debate has been going on for so many years. I mean, before I became a pilot, even in flight school, the fixed wing guys were like, they do more, they are, they do more things. But we feel that we are flying machines that don't want to fly. Because take your leg off the pedal and you are finished.
Wow. I see.
Yeah, because the pedal gives you, I mean, direction. Your collective, and you know the funny thing, anytime you increase your collective, that's the control like this, like the handle.
Okay.
Your pedal configuration changes.
Really?
So in a hover, the moment you touch, yes, increase the revolutions or the rotation speed of the blade,
Yeah.
both the tail blade and the main blade. It means that your aircraft wants to turn away more. That means you must apply more pedal to keep it steady.
Wow.
So many things are going on. And imagine doing this with your iPad, really, like imagine a solo student doing this, reading, I mean, looking on your map to find your direction, talking to ATC, you know, tuning your QNH, so many things,
Yeah. Yeah.
so many things. But a fixing guy takes off and please, he can even take some biscuit and be chill like that. You know? So if you look at, that's why we even with helicopter pilots, a lot of the instructors are very reluctant to clear you solo until they are extremely comfortable that you can multitask.
Okay.
Because before solo, your instructor does so much for you. You are solo, you are strapped,
You
you
have
are
to do
flying the aircraft,
everything.
you are talking to tower, you are entering QNH. Some of them have what we call carb heats. You are doing
Yeah.
carburetor setting,
Yeah.
you are doing carburetor setting, and you are looking at, again, you must also look out for other traffic. You know, at the same time, look on your map, no, you are not lost.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, yeah. But I'll say that we are all doing our best in our field. However, I'm a helicopter pilot, so
All
I
right.
think we do just a little more work than they do.
All right, all right. Thank you very much for explaining that very well. So I think about the hover. I think it's one thing that helicopter pilots really learn because there was a time I was in a helicopter and when it was, I mean, landing, you can feel like you are close to the ground. You don't even know whether the thing has touched the ground or it hasn't touched. That kind of
Yes,
feeling where you think you are suspended on the ground and you don't even know whether it has touched ground. It's a very nice feeling. I think helicopter pilots do that very well. Like you said, it's very important. All right.
yeah.
So let's go to the next question. Okay, so I think in the comment section, someone asked, someone says, which flying schools do we have? do we have in Ghana? And then another person also says, can people go for flight excursions?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
what do you have to say about the flight schools in Ghana? And then
Hmm.
if people can go for flight
The excursion.
excursions? Yeah.
Actually, the flying school there, I have to be honest with you, we've not developed it well as Ghanaians.
Yeah.
I think the major hindrance is the fact that we don't have a national airline.
Yeah. That's
Because
true.
if we had a national airline, they would have we would have needed like a resource base, a human resource base
Yeah.
to sort of support them. Uh, so for where I work, most of the pilots do some training in Ghana and then they take them abroad. However, I know there's one in Afinia. I don't know whether we are allowed to advertise for them for free. There's one in Afinia. Yeah. I don't know whether they do up to commercial yet. The last time I checked, it was up to private pilots.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to be sure. It's still up to private pilots.
Yeah. It's up to PPO. Yeah.
Yeah, PPL. So it means that if you want to train in Ghana, I always say, if you are not from an affluent family that can train you outside Ghana, maybe Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, South Africa, America or Europe or Asia, then you have to join an institution that recruits pilots.
Yeah.
But the institutions too are very strict, and some of their reasons for disqualifying may be very flimsy.
Yeah. That's
But
true.
the issue is that the reasons are because you are becoming another person before you become a pilot.
Yeah.
So they need you to be somebody before a pilot. So it's unfortunate, but that is what happened. Yeah. So it has a risk you must take unless you can find yourself or look for what you call cadet programs. But for
Okay.
cadet programs, you see, those airlines normally do it for their nationals or residents there. So for example, maybe you want to do maybe Ethiopian airline or Dubai or Emirates.
Yeah.
If you are in Ghana and you apply, you are most likely not to get it. But imagine you live in Emirates or you live in Ethiopia. You can go there and have a one-on-one with them and strike a deal with them. It is convenient for them like that because they know who you are.
Yeah. That's
Especially for
true.
those who fly what we call flag carriers. Flag carriers are carriers of national of the country like Egypt Air, Ethiopian Air,
Yeah.
Emirates. You know, they carry the flag of the country. Yeah, that's the whole thing. So that's the challenge about flying. Excuse me. That's why a lot more people don't know about it, and people sort of give up on the dream because it's like like I said, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to meet Donald Trump. Who would I go and meet Donald Trump?
Yeah.
you
That's
know,
true.
you know. Yeah, but I still believe that if you have that belief in you, you should be able to do it. Because if I look at how I became a pilot, yeah, sorry, I'm God, but really, you know,
All right.
the other thing about the excursions is that it's possible based on the time and season. I know the institution sometimes does this open day for people to experience flight. I think just this last week we did it for a certain school. But again, it depends on time and season. I can't sit here and promise you. That's the thing. Because you know, these challenges are equivalent in Ghana because aviation is still going. I mean, I have to be honest, we've gone back because we were like the model for so many countries.
Wow. I see.
You know, we were the model for so many countries that even in my institution, when people come back to Ghana, they come and look, they come to see where we've gotten to because they still put us at that pedestal that hey, you were like this like 40 years ago. It means that you are gone. But like we progress a little. You know,
Yeah. I see.
a lot of things I can't say here, but we were like a model. So it's sad that we don't have a national airline. It's sad that we don't have a flight school. It's sad that people have such a dream and they cannot pursue it. That's why you and I are doing something like this to let people see that there are possibilities. Recently, I watched a post on I think Facebook where a travel and tour agency is more like they're acting like a recruitment center for pilots
Yeah.
in
I
America.
think. I think I saw something like that.
I wonder how they do that. I wonder which expertise they have to do that. I hope they are doing the right thing, but it's a good opportunity for people who want to fly. But again, for something like that, it will influence people.
Yeah.
Your father get money, then you do. I really like me. Let's have to join the institution. All
All
right.
right. All right. Thank you very much for that extensive answer. Okay. So we have about 3 or 4 more questions to go. So the next one is that you would, the physicality about being a pilot and the mentality. Um, what are your thoughts on that? And also, how do you keep yourself physically and mentally ready for the flights that you do?
Okay, thank you. So I mentioned that we have some checks that we do before we fly.
All right.
One of the checks you do will be on you, the human being. There's
Okay.
a checklist called I'm safe.
Okay.
I'm sure you know what it means. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So this takes care of your whole well-being. So you have to be sure you are fine. You're not sleep. People need drag down affect you. You are emotionally stable. You are stress free. You eating. And to be a pilot, I mean, you at altitude you put yourself under so much stress
Okay.
because so much stress. So even if you are in a fixed wing aircraft that is pressurized, I mean, let's say you are in an airline as a passenger at 39,000 feet, your cabin is pressurized at maybe 6 or 7,000 feet,
Yeah.
maybe 5,000 feet. At 5,000 feet, your body is reacting to that pressure. It is not normal. Your body is used to sea level or maybe 300 feet, but your body is now sustaining itself at 5,000 feet. That's why when you go on a long flight, you come home, you are tired because now your body has been subjected to so much stress at that level.
Yeah.
So it means that if you are the pilot, you are going through this periodically. It means your body may mutate
Okay.
to adapt to something like that, which is very real. It is very real. Yeah. I read this research. It was still research about the mutations that can happen in the pilot's body because of the altitude change and the pressure. I mean, it's yet to be validated, but I mean, it was somebody's research that because normally you are pressurized at that level, your body, and you are going to do this for like maybe 10, 15, 20 years, your body eventually mutates to adapt to it.
Okay. I
Yes,
see.
it's not bad, but it just tells how your body reacts to some of these things. Yeah. So the pilot must be fit
Okay.
physically. You can't be. I see. You see a lot of airline pilots with big stomach and walking around. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's true. You can do that, but the requirements for being a civilian pilot is not as strict as a military pilot. But even as a civilian pilot, you should try and maintain some healthy lifestyle
Yeah.
because you cannot pass out in the middle of the air. You kill people.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's
I
true.
shouldn't use kill. You finish people. You see. So exercise, regular exercise, being fit, being active, do regular medical checks, which you have to do even if you qualify to fly every time you renew your certificate, so to say. Another important thing that is we have to take note is the mental faculty of pilot. That's one thing you cannot really check. Is that most of these things are checked from the answers the pilots give. So if you bring the questionnaire during the checks and he says, oh, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, how do you know he's fine? So that's where your boss comes in. Every senior pilot knows how a co-pilot is. He
Okay.
knows when a co-pilot is ready to fly and when a co-pilot is not ready to fly. One major thing that can tell you that a co-pilot is not ready to fly is when he's late.
When is what?
When you are late for a flight, that flight
Okay.
will be horrible. No matter how excellent you are, it
Wow.
will be a horrible flight. Yes, because mentally you are not psyched. If you've watched videos of these aerobatic pilots, Blue Angels and the other guys, they do the flight on the ground before they go into the air.
Yeah. Yeah. The chair flying.
And you realize most times they have their eyes closed because they fly everything on the ground before they go. So before a flight, you do the flight, we call it armchair flying. You fly the aircraft on the ground before you take off. So you have done it already. So your mind automatically cites itself for something like that. But if you are late and you are under pressure or you have some family issues and you cannot deal with it, it will show when you fly.
Okay.
There was an incident with the German wings where the pilot had broken heart and he flew into a mountain because of broken heart. You know, he took people along with him. You
Yeah.
get my point. That's an
Yeah.
emotion. I'm sure during his checks he think that he was fine. He was fine. He was fine. But if I don't know, I hope that it was concluded that he did it. It was suicide. However, he would have hoped that his senior pilots would have noticed that he had a problem.
Yeah.
So that the mentality part is where it's quite dicey because you cannot really tell. Cannot tell. But again, as a senior pilot, you be able to tell how your co-pilot is before the flight. And you as an individual pilot, you should be able to know that I'm not ready. When I'm giving certain flights and I know that my competency doesn't get to that, it's not up to that level, then I tell them no, I'm not ready.
Okay.
For example, there was a flight where I had not done, I'm trying to remember, but it was flag towing. Flag tow, yes. So I traveled and I returned. I've not done underslang operations. It's called underslang operations. For a long time, you put a flag under here and tow it.
Okay.
But this time we're not towing a flag. We're going to have soldiers hang under us.
Wow.
And I had not flown in 2 years.
Okay.
I was not current. So I told the captain that I'm not current on it. So somebody who is current should do it. So I'll read myself into it and do the next one.
Okay.
Because if I don't do that and I do macho, which is what we call a hazardous attitude, you
Exactly.
know,
Exactly.
and I go and do it and I kill somebody. Oh, why do I say kill? Sorry, something happens to somebody. Then I mean I've caused so much because I'm trying to protect my ego. But I mean, I believe that there's nothing like a best pilot.
Okay.
Is a good pilot is somebody who goes
I'm
and
coming back.
comes back safely.
Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you very much for that. Okay. So the next one is, what are some misconceptions about helicopter pilots, especially, that you want to clear up?
That yeah, people think helicopter pilots are rich. Actually, arguably, the fiction guys technically they may make more than we do. That's the truth. I think, because of the distance. Yeah. But I mean, there will be variations though. But just to be more serious now. So but people think that we don't do much work. To be honest, especially some of the fixed wing guys, they think that we are small babies because they can go far. We can fly a helicopter from here to America. It's very possible. It's just that it will be long. It
Yeah.
takes too much time. So why will you sit? Yeah, it's very possible. Someone has done a single engine bell around the world. I
Yeah.
mean, they even did it in the 70s actually.
Okay.
So it's possible. So they think that we don't do much. And the other thing is that they think some people think helicopter pilots are arrogant a little because they think they are better than fixed wing guys. So there's that little rivalry. Apart from that, to be honest, fixed wing guys are fascinated to an extent about how we fly
Yeah.
because we can easily fly their machine, but they can't easily fly ours.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, we they can't easily fly ours. So I
I'm
think
really,
I've said most I remember.
yeah, you have. So I am really mostly inclined to the fixed wing. I've learned a little more about that. But the first day I actually flew in a heli, I was very amazed. Like honestly, I was so amazed about how the pilots actually, even the lift off is kind of amazing because you just see the machine going up, and then you start going. So I think the helis are also nice to
So
fly.
in flying school, we used to tell our grand instructor that we don't believe anything they tell us. We think it's witchcraft. How will a rotating body be going up and going forward? It does not make sense. Okay, so going up may make sense because of Newton's third law. Push the air down and go up.
Yeah,
But moving forward, how does it make sense? It is not a wing.
that's true. That's true.
So we used to call it witchcraft. But so that's the fascinating thing. Honestly, I always loved helicopters. Yeah. Fixed wing looked fancy. And that's what people knew, or people still know today. But I think helicopters are the future. You know why? Because of air mobility, air taxis, air ambulance. Helicopters, we save lives, we don't drop balloons. If you have a problem in the deepest corner of the world, we can pick you up and send you there to where you can have access to medical care.
Yeah,
When you are cut off, you can pick by fixed wing guys. They can just drop balloons and wish you luck.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. All right, awesome. So let's go to the last but one question. So the last but one question is saying that is there any experience or story from your career that stands out very well for you, and it's actually like you would never forget. You would never forget about that experience.
Yeah, so after flight school, we returned to Ghana to come and convert onto a machine.
Okay.
Charlie, it's like you are coming to justify your inclusion. You have the license all right, oh, but you have not arrived.
Okay.
The license is for your pocket. And now you are come to justify
Okay.
why they should give you a multi-million dollar aircraft to fly.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was tough. My God. You know, with where I work and the pressure, it was tough.
Wow, I
It
get
is
it.
still tough, but because you really feel like you are ab initio, you are now starting it.
Really, after all the
You
training.
really feel like you don't know anything. Yes, yes. Because at the end of the training, you are so confident,
Okay.
but you come to Ghana and your morale is just shattered. And it's as if you don't know anything. And you know the funny thing, when you are giving the controls to hover, my God, it's terrible. I mean, I remember the Afianya, I started in Takwari actually, and I found it difficult to do a normal approach. So that night, I sat down, I was just questioning myself, I was like,
Are you not the one who
say
was
my son, I
suffering?
said, Minimadi, you know, but I understood that it was a pressure. So, so I still cannot forget that it may sound funny now, but I think that it sort of put me on the edge to sit up. You
Okay.
know. And also, when you return home as a pilot, your family, everywhere you're a pilot. And you know, pilot, I think pilots are like, their accounts are like $6 million every month. So
I
every
see.
problem comes to you.
I
I mean, we
see.
are just regular workers, yeah. Like I said, we are not extremely special. We don't do things that very few people do. That's
Okay.
all. Yeah.
Okay. I get it. Awesome. So before we go to the last question, I have just this question to put in the middle. So how are you able to fly the helicopters at night? Because even during the day when you are seeing everything clear and all that, it's very challenging. So in the night, how are you able to manage that? Because there are times when you have to fly at night.
Charlie, it's not a pleasant experience. So at night, I'm sure you remember the crash, the helicopter and the American airline crash, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a typical night operation. So at night, depending on what you are doing, you may be flying with what we call night vision goggles.
Okay,
Goggles. So that's
okay,
the NVG. Or you may be flying like regular flight at night. That is why instrument flying is very important.
okay,
Because if you're able to adapt with instrument flying, it is similar to night. So at night you don't see anything. Oh. So you must pay attention to your instruments a lot.
okay.
The thing about helicopter is that you see your rotating machine, the blades are rotating. The
Yeah,
blades have tip lights. They
okay.
can create confusion and illusion for you when you are flying. It's
Wow,
really challenging. And you know when you look at it for a while, it can make you dizzy.
wow.
And you know the aircraft is vibrating.
Yeah,
The gauges can vibrate. When you see 90 knots, it can be, it's like it's blurring because it's shaking.
okay. Wow,
That's another challenge. Another challenge is that when we are picking up into a hover during the day, we have visual references. So you
okay,
pick a point ahead of you, pick a point to your left, to your right, so that you don't go back and you don't go forward. You pick a
okay,
point diagonally. At night, you don't have anything like that. That is where the feeling comes in. So the aircraft should be a part of you. So that when you are 1 feet up the ground, you know you are 1 feet up the ground.
okay.
When you are 3 meters up the ground, you can tell you are 3 meters up the ground.
Wow, I
So
see.
because you don't have any reference, you should know that you may most likely go back and you don't know you are going back. So again, that's where the co-pilot comes in. Because he will have better situational awareness because he's not on control. So he'll
Okay,
be telling you, oh, you are going back, you are going forward, you are going to the side. All these are when you are taking off from an airport. Oh.
Okay.
So when you are taking off from a confined area where there are no lights, you see the challenge.
Yeah.
It gets worse because now that's what we call a black hole.
Okay.
So with helicopter training, we are very particular about night illusions because they can easily affect us. That's why when I heard about the crash with the helicopter and the fixed wing, I was not too surprised because I suspected the helicopter lost track. Because
Okay.
again, if you are using what they call the NVG, you can easily get disoriented, sorry.
Wow.
You can easily get disoriented because the NVG is when you are using it, your whole area must be stark black, like dark.
Okay.
When there's a pinch of light, you can easily get blinded and affect you. So it's like it can blind you and affect your flying.
I see.
I'm not saying that's the cause of what happened there, but I am thinking that there could have been a contributing factor because in the airport environment there are so many lights there.
Yeah, they are. There are so
And
many lights.
we, so I mean it's challenging at night. I don't lie about it, but we still do it. We still do it. When we are doing so at night, we try to stick to airport.
Okay.
We only do maybe a confined area when it is an emergency. Even with that, we can improvise. If it's a helipad, it will have helipad lights.
Okay.
If it is a dark area, one Ghanaian improvisation is that vehicles will park around the field
Okay.
and throw their headlight on the landing spot.
Wow, I see.
Yes, then you land there. But
That.
that takes a lot of skill because now you don't have visual reference of obstacles.
Yeah.
So we call something like maximum performance takeoff, where you go. Do you remember the Leicester City incident,
Yes.
the
Yes.
helicopter crash?
Yeah.
So that was a maximum performance takeoff. He goes high to a point, very, very high to clear the obstacle. That's the stadium and transition. That's the same way you come and land. So you come very high like that and come land to the spot because you don't have visual reference with the obstacles around you. All you can see is the landing spot. So
Okay.
at night it's challenging, but I mean, if you are saving a life at night, you do it.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
I see. I think I didn't really appreciate how helicopter pilots fly the helicopter. So I actually sat in one. I was so amazed, like, how is this thing able to go anyhow it wants, turn around,
Yeah.
and behave anyhow it wants? I think it's really amazing. So
I like what you said. Behave anyhow it wants.
yeah, it can behave anyhow it wants. And so one time I was actually at the tower, and then I saw one heli. I think it was leaving the airport, but it had tilted the nose down, and the tail was kind of upwards, like that kind of it's like in a diagonal form, and it was
Yeah.
still moving. How
Just
is
one
that?
moment. Let me bring my helicopter.
All right, all right.
Yeah. So it was like this, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. 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 I'm sure you're wondering why.
I didn't understand. I even asked the traffic controller what was happening to the helicopter. Like, why is it moving that way? But he didn't really understand. He didn't really explain it.
Yeah, you understand. Yeah. So the reason why it moves like this is because it's amazing. Fixed wing take off like this and we go like this.
Yeah.
So when it's about to take off, this blade it encounters a lot of resistance.
Okay.
So when you go through the air, it has to cut through rough air because the blade itself generates a lot of unstable air. So it has to go through rough air to create efficiency. Water shook a little. It's like it was fighting through something before it eventually became smooth. So the pattern will be like this before it comes like this.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
That same way.
However, that's what is taught in flight school. However, when you fly for a long time and you know people are fascinated about helicopters, they want to show off. You can still keep going like that. But eventually, you still have to come up because you're like a stable place before. So amazing thing is that fixed swing, we land like this and we take off like this.
Okay.
Fixed swing take off like this and land like this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
so yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So the last question for the day will be an advice you have for people who are aspiring to be pilots, because I think sometimes it's very hard because when you think about the money you have to spend to become a pilot, a lot of people run away because many people will tell you that when they were growing up they wanted to be pilots, but when they heard how much they have to pay to
The
become pilots,
reality.
they will just run away. So what advice do you have for people who actually want to be pilots, like aspiring pilots, especially Ghanaians? Yeah.
So, Charlie, like I said, you know, to be honest, it's difficult. I don't know how I would have made it if I did not join the airport.
Okay.
That's the truth. I don't know how I would have made it. Because even at the time, I think we had CTK.
Yeah.
I think CT, is it CTK? Yeah, there
Yeah,
was
it was
CTK.
CTK. CTK.
Yeah, and even for them, I think they were struggling, and because it's expensive, people don't patronize it. And aviation is really expensive. And those who can afford it will prefer to train abroad.
Okay.
I think there was niche for some time, niche aviation.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So it's very difficult. So I'll say that because you may not have the finances to train on your own, first of all, use the internet a lot.
All right.
Keep searching for pilot cadet programs. So, like I said, in the past, countries with flag carriers, like British Airways, Ethiopia, and co. They used to pick only their nationals to fly for them.
Yeah.
But I think in recent times, people are relaxing on that because there's a demand, a little demand. So I met a guy from Mongolia. He had bought some number of I think A320s or A321s, one of them, I don't remember. And he was telling me quickly to go and to come to join him. Because uh, he was like, they didn't have the numbers. They needed first pilots.
Oh, okay. I see.
You know, so you have to use the internet a lot to explore some of the options. You really have to explore the academies, the cadet programs. Some of them will be fake, I admit, but keep trying because it's the internet that will give you the information.
Yeah.
Yeah. The second thing is that if you don't also have the finances, if you have the finances and your parents can pay, or you have a sponsor, fair enough. The best place you can train is America. I lie to you. It's
Yeah,
very
that's true.
relaxed and they are the bosses in the world. EASA is very difficult compared to FAA. I won't lie about it.
Oh,
After
okay.
EASA, you can build an aircraft.
Wow, I see.
You are like an engineer before a pilot.
Oh,
The
okay.
FAA is very smooth. It's very smooth. Easy going. Yeah. SA is mostly objectives. EASA, you do written exam.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that's to do right. Then if you cannot afford to train yourself, then you have to look for an institution. In Ghana, the only institution that will train you is the Air Force.
Yeah.
But the requirements to join the Air Force changes every year. Every year. So I can't sit here and say because when I was joining, the requirements were different. Now, even having a private pilot license is a requirement.
Yeah.
So if you have a lot of people having private pilot license and you have even aerospace engineering or even mathematics, they'll pick those guys over you. So you see how it changes. However, you still have to keep trying. And I believe that if you have a dream, it's better you pursue and fail than not to pursue.
Yeah, that's true.
I used to be a good musician,
You still
and I'm
are.
a
You still play
Santu.
the keyboard, so you still are.
So the pain is when you did not try.
I get
So
it.
I think that you can keep trying. If you try and it works, fine. If it does not work, There are so many careers in aviation. Aviation is not only about pilots. You should get that one straight. Pilots are just one. Pilot is just a profession in aviation. Even with the aircraft, there's a pilot, a technician, the engineer, dispatcher, air traffic control, ground crew. There's even the painter. There's a plumber. There's a fuel man. There's a lawyer. There's aviation doctor. What do I forget?
The
There's a
purses, the cabin
accountant, a
crew.
finance. Like there are so many jobs in aviation,
Yeah.
but a lot of us are obsessed with pilots, thinking that pilots are the head. They are not. They are not the head. They are one. This is one of the jobs you can do as an aviator.
Sure.
Okay, if I tell you aviation security person is an aviator, people will argue with me. But he's an aviator. He works in the space.
Yeah.
There's meteorology.
Yeah.
So many things. So if it does not work like that for you, look for an option and you still want to stay in the space. There are so many options in the space. I know one man who wanted to join the Air Force as a pilot. Now he works with the regulators and he's a very big man there. 35 years on, he told me that I think he made a better decision. Why? He's an engineer and he feels he's now putting his skills into action.
Okay.
Because if you are joined as a pilot, maybe you have just been flying, 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 but now he's practicing his job.
Okay.
So, I mean, I've spoken a lot, but I hope I've made sense.
Oh yeah, yeah, you really have. All right. Thank you very much for that. So I think we've exhausted the questions that we had. So one person in the
Yeah, yeah,
comment
yeah.
section
Are
says
there any
that
questions from the guys there?
yeah, somebody says that is there any age limit for flying?
No, 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 no. So in flight school, there was a guy who came there. He was 56. His dream was to fly. So he had retired, and he said he had to learn how to fly before he passed on. Sort of. So he sold his property and came to learn how to fly. Yeah. So there's no age. You just have to be healthy. That's the only thing. If you are healthy, you are fine. The problem is that if you are not healthy, then sometimes age comes with some challenges.
Yeah.
So that's where the issue may come up. But if you are healthy, you are fine. And you don't need to be like super healthy to know how to fly. To fly, like everything. No, 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 no. Yeah, you just have to be like okay healthy. Yeah,
All
okay
right.
healthy.
All right. All right. I get it. That's
I think
awesome.
some Ethiopia has joined.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just about to say that if anyone wants to ask a question and you want to join us for just a few minutes, about 5 to 10 minutes, we're about ending. So if you have any question, you could like request. I'll add you on, and then you can ask your question before we end. Just about 5 minutes. I don't know if anyone wants to join.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah,
think
so key to join.
somebody wants to join, so I'm adding the person. Somebody
Container.
Yeah, somebody says, please, do you think the government can set up a flight school?
This one there now. Wow, this one is a government matter. So we are hearing the news about the whole airport. So whole airport.
Yeah.
I went there in 2020
Wow, five
to
years ago.
help. So when it was built, it was not operational, so to say. So I went there as part of my job to help set it up for the Air Force to land.
Okay.
Yeah, it's after that Africa World came there like they are coming to operate. No, no, no. Yeah, boy, you want that out. We're going to clear the runway, set the place up. We were landed there. I was at that place. I was airport manager, air traffic controller, aviation security, what everything. Because we're using
Okay, I see.
handheld radios to feed to the aircraft.
Really?
So it's to be honest, the whole airport is a perfect place to do a flight school. It's about 50 minutes from Accra. Airspace is free. They can have enough time, land to build accommodation. Or it's a peaceful place. It's a neat town.
Okay.
And the training area is so vast that you can stretch towards Afram plains and oh my god, the perfect place to learn how to fly.
Okay.
Yeah. But I hope that it is not like a flash in a pan or all of those promises. If it materializes, they should come and call us. We'll come and help.
All right. So I think we'll take one last question from the comment section. So the person says, "Does oversensitiveness and quick reaction have a negative impact on the flight?"
Yes. So I think that it brings up what we call hazardous attitudes to flying.
Okay.
So every human being has an hazardous attitude. Let's take note. At least two. Every pilot. So it could be macho. It could be macho means that we are literally macho. You can do everything. If they say fly the aircraft upside down, you fly it upside down. That's macho. There's impulsivity, like what he's talking about. When there's an emergency, like there's a fire in the left engine, you must turn off the left engine. You go and turn off the right engine, the working engine. You see, that's impulsivity. So in
Yeah.
flight school, normally when you are doing a dangerous procedure with the Air Force, they hit the back of your head. But in flight school, they hit your hand. Don't touch my control. That's a dangerous action.
Okay.
Then you fail for that day, you'd have failed the class. You repeat it.
Wow.
So just digressing, I had a flight where I was so confident that after landing, I was with my instructor. I left the collective stake for like 5 seconds. That day, because of that, I failed the lesson. So I had to repeat.
Wow.
The lesson was that it is a dangerous practice. So we've talked about macho impulsivity. There's also resignation. So
Yeah.
people who give up when they are not able to like land the aircraft, they just hit it down. Like there are people like that. I cannot do it. It's too difficult. Resignation. There's an engine fire. Then you start shouting, "Oh, mommy, I'm dead! Oh no!" You have to follow the procedure. You know, they start panicking. And there's also the positivity. After I'm matching, after
Yeah.
I'm positivity, after resignation. Get oh,
Anti-authority.
no, get there. It is. There's one.
Yes, anti-authority too.
Yeah, anti-authority. Yes. So I'm a senior, but I don't have enough experience on the machine. I'm flying with my junior who has more experience on the machine. Because I'm senior, I won't listen to him. But on the aircraft, he's senior. Although in my job, I'm senior. You get it?
Yeah.
So when he talks, I don't mind him. That's anti-authority. You see? And then it remind me the last one.
Get there it is.
Yeah, there's get it. There's another one to get it is like uh, obviously it's neutral. You
Yeah.
know. So you every human being has at least this uh,
Hazardous
two of
attitude.
these things. You see, so the two of these hazardous attitudes.
Yeah.
So you have to find a way to manage it.
Yeah.
That's why in the aircraft there's always procedure.
Yeah. The last thing
Everything is procedural. You cannot
the last thing
do
is
anything on your own.
invulnerability. The last thing was
Yes,
invulnerability.
invulnerability. Thank you. Nothing it cannot happen to me. I can never crash. There are people like that. So we call them bold pilots. So I don't know whether you've heard of old and bold pilots.
Yeah, no.
Bold pilots are gone. Old pilots are alive because they were careful.
Okay.
So you can turn the aircraft upside down. You're a bold pilot, but we bury you.
That's true.
The old pilots will tell the story of the bold pilots to the young ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So you have to really follow procedure. Yeah, that's the thing. You'll be fine. I see a question there.
Okay, so he says aspiring to become a pilot but starting with flight dispatching, is that a good approach?
Oh, of course, there are people who started as air traffic controllers. There are guys who started as cabin crew.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is like another job in the aviation space. So sometimes pilots retire to become like directors of airlines. You see, some pilots can retire to enter the civil aviation authority. They can work for the airport company. You know, the pilots can retire and become a safety inspector.
Yeah.
So it can go the other way too. You can start a dispatcher and become a pilot. Everything in the morning. If you can fund it, that's the thing. You can fund it. You know, I get sad about our situation here because the East Africans, they are far ahead of us. Like they are gone.
I see.
Kenya, Tanzania, Malawi, Ethiopia, you know, Rwanda, like they are gone. They are gone, but we are still struggling. You know, but the Kenyans like this, they've evolved to the point that helicopters are normal because of the safari. It's so normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in Ghana, if you want to use helicopter, unless you go to where you do now. One place.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I see a lot of people join. I see quite a number of people joining now.
Yeah. When we are about to end. So somebody
Yeah.
says, is there a jump seat in the helicopter?
Uh what does it mean by jump seat? There are jump seats in a helicopter,
So probably
but they are not like literal jump seats.
yeah.
They are just available seats for the additional crew. We don't have cabin crew. Okay, so there are VIP helicopters
Yeah.
that may have some that may be similar to fixed wing configurations. You know, where you can have like a VIP helicopter for maybe the chairman of Ampong Limited. So you may configure it to be comfortable.
Yeah.
You have your small cabin crew taking care of you. Your cockpit, your cabin is set up for you.
Okay.
Your regular helicopters, I mean, you see, when we do a lot of donkey job. That's
Really?
the truth. Yeah. So, I mean, for advanced countries, they also have helicopters that are like CEOs, TV stations, radio stations, because of the way you can hop around. A lot of donkey job. Donkey job, yeah.
Okay. I see. All right. So Kofi Apia, please, do you have a question? I think you have a question. You can ask it, and then we'll end it. We've spent about 1 hour and 26 minutes.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm done.
Say again, Kofi Apia.
Well, I don't have any question.
Oh, all right. All right. Thank you very much for joining. We are ending
Thank
the
you.
hour.
It's your experience like what is it?
Since
You
have you
explain
ever
how
gone against a rule or improvised in your flight?
a rule. Yeah, so like I said, for example, if you are landing in a confined area,
Okay.
yeah. So when you are landing in a confined area, there's a procedure. However, the procedure is not cast in stone.
Okay.
It should be flexible. So maybe the rule is to maybe approach this. Let's say this is a landing spot. The rule is to approach this way.
Okay.
There's an obstacle here. You cannot approach direct.
Yeah.
You must approach from the side, come towards the place, and turn.
Okay.
That's breaking the rule. But the situation demands that you do that. However, anything about breaking procedural rules should be really carefully thought about because if something happens, you should be able to justify it.
Okay.
Yeah. Be able to justify. So basically, that is it.
All right. All right. I get it. Okay. So your last words for everybody on the live, and then we will end it. We have just about 2 minutes to go, and then we will end
All
it.
right. So to experience flight at the Air Force, so how can one experience helicopter flight? That one, unless you see me private. Yeah. So my last words are that we are trying to build a community. I'm very happy with what you are doing. Right? You are more like my H1 now. You are trying to do. I've been trying to do live for a long time, but I've not gotten time.
Wow. I see.
So I'm happy that you brought this up. I think that this thing can be regular every
Yeah.
Sunday. Don't mind. Anywhere I am, I don't care about the background. Yeah, because
Sure.
like I said, we are trying to build a community. When I entered flying aviation, I realized that a lot of people didn't know about aviation. Even now, people don't know much.
Yeah. That's
Still,
that's true. That's
you
true.
know, I know people who are well traveled. I know people who are well traveled that ask me weird questions about aviation. One man who I know has been traveling since I was like 6 years old. He's telling me that anytime the aircraft is about to land, he's afraid. Then he starts shaking. I was like, are you this man? You are my father's age. He said, travel. I saw you travel. You've been traveling around the world. He talking about? I thought you had enough experience to understand that it's normal. And the truth is that people are still fascinated about it.
Yeah.
And the more we talk about it, we open up, we let people meet a lot more professionals. I think that people will understand better.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just this humans that we've had these crashes that people have started paying attention to this,
That's true because
Jeju and all this.
yeah,
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 people are like, hey, name to me, you've not had a major incident, so people are forgotten again. Yeah, they
yeah,
are waiting for something to happen to start talking again. But we have to keep the community going. I've seen someone say that we can start a group. I mean, there are groups, we have to keep it going. We have to keep talking.
yeah,
Even after us, yeah, I'll be happy if a lot of people also set up pages. We can talk. I was talking to a couple of professionals, but they don't seem too interested in setting up the social media pages. So it's like I'm alone. Because a lot of work. Yes, me.
yeah. That's true.
Yeah. But like what you are doing is very good. So we have to build the community. That one day we have to do it. Yeah, we have to build the community. Very important. Maybe in the future we can get an airline pilot from Emirates come to talk to us. You never know.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah. There's one in Ghana, isn't there?
There is.
Former, yes. You
Yeah,
see? Yeah.
yeah. We
So,
have some people like
and
Peter.
another thing too, I think that if you look at the schools,
Sure.
yeah, it's very important because people have dreams and they want to look up to someone. You must give them someone to look up to.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much for making time for us as well because I know it's not easy. Tomorrow is Monday and you have to be at work
I tell you.
at before 7 or something, but you are here and I'm really grateful for joining. I thank everyone for joining as well. So I can see P, Andrew, Obria Boaje. Hello DJ Vintage. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. Niyat, Ellen is here and Kofi Apia is also here. So yeah, so I mean a lot of people also join and also left. So we thank everyone for joining. We'll try and do this regularly. And if you have any questions, just try and follow our pages. So you can follow Heli Pilot Group on all the social media handles, Facebook, YouTube, here, on TikTok, and then I think um, YouTube as well.
Instagram.
Yeah, yeah, Instagram. Yeah. So thank you for joining. If we have another session, I'm going to share the flyer and then you are going to hear from us. From time to time, we are going to do a lot of videos. So if you have any questions at all, try and also put them in our comment section. We'll respond to them. So thank you, Captain, for joining. I'll still keep in touch, and then if you have to do this again, we'll do it.
All right, we have to do it again.
All
We book
right.
a date next week.
All